Hey everyone, this is Mr. Everything, and today I wanted to do an unboxing and review of these ON wireless over-the-ear headphones. I think it's the best you can get, the best deal, and let me just clarify right off the bat, I think it's the overall best bang for your buck. Now obviously these aren't going to be the best quality, they're not going to have the best features, the best sound, but again, you have to pay maybe two, three, maybe even $400 for that, and that's going to take a lot of people out that aren't going to be, considered customers for this. So I think a $50 price point, basically anyone, unless you're looking for just like really cheap pairs, $50 is probably a good price point for anyone. It's really affordable, and you get decent quality for someone that's looking for being budget minded, and at the same time for someone that's looking for higher quality, you get a lot of that, and it's not too bad on price then. So it's a good deal all around, I believe. So with all of that out of the way, I've been using just in-ear earbuds for the last year or so. Really like them, but sometimes I get tired of having them in. Sometimes they make like the inside of your ear hurt. Depends on how long you wear them, and then the inside of your ear gets like sticky and stuff. So I wanted to switch to these just to have more options. And I was looking around, and I just I thought this was a good price. You can get them at pretty much any Walmart, and you can see most of the reviews here are positive, and you can just tell by the overall. Now I'm sure all these people aren't audio experts, but nonetheless, at least you're knowing they're not broken, they don't fall apart. So even if they might not be pristine sound, they're definitely good enough for the average person, which is great. So here's the packaging, and if you do want to get these at your local Walmart, because it obviously ON's a Walmart brand, so that's where you're going to find it. You could order online, but if you want to get it in a store, at least at mine, it was in the case, so you have to ask, which isn't as convenient as just getting off the shelf. But that's assuming you can even get into a Walmart without being treated as a piece of government property. And you can see that the ON products have rebranded themselves. This new corporately cool idea of just advertising, and surf on, dude. So you can see that's what everything looks like now, but it does make them stand out more. And you can see, well, the most important thing, you get 30 hours of battery life if you're not using noise canceling, and they do have no active noise canceling. And then just, you can just kind of look at it for what it is. Now, I've been wearing these, by the way. I just wanted to show you, just so you know what you get, and you can live vicariously through this. Really nothing going on here. It's all right here, and then you get this, and then the rest of this is useless. So I think there's some relevant. You can see it's 40 millimeter drivers, cable lengths, peak and RMS power. What you get. Now, sometimes people don't know what the controls are, so the only thing I haven't figured out is how to do pairing, because like it says here, when you first turn it on, it's automatically in pairing. And I don't know if you just would continue to hold the power button once they are paired, if it would go back into pairing. And this is actually touch sensitive. I'll get to that more in the review. Phone call I don't use. I really use my smartphone for phone calls, so the chances that are ever going to have to use that while I have it connected is unlikely, so I haven't tried that. And then there's some jargon there. Alright, so now that all that's out of the way, you do get this case with them, which is nice. I had a pair of Sennheisers, and back when I was in school, and I had to buy a hard case. So, it's only like an extra $10, but it's nice just to have one right out of the box made to fit it. They are collapsible. And then you get your two cables, and this is the charging cable. It's micro USB, so not Type-C. It's not very long, and you don't get a power brick or a little wall adapter. So you either need to plug this into basically anything, which everything has USB ports, or use an existing power adapter, which you likely have. And then as far as the audio cable goes, because you can also, if the battery would die or for some reason you have some latency or something, you can just use them like this. So it's nice to have that option. I mean, obviously, if you're buying these, you might as well just get them for the wireless function, the Bluetooth function. If you just want a set of wired ones, I'd recommend just getting a higher quality name brands, wired, say like Sennheiser's, Audio-Technica, etc. And you'd probably pay less because you're paying more for the wireless technology in here. But it is nice to have that option, and they give you the cable. And one thing I did notice, I don't know if you saw it. See, it makes the light come on when you plug them in. It's kind of odd. But I would imagine if the batteries were dead, I mean, it's still going to work, so I'm not sure why it would even trigger that, but that's just an observation. So I think it's like I said, it's kind of hard. It's always hard to pick up black unless you have like perfect lighting, like studio lighting. So I tuck this under this little nylon pouch, and I just tuck it up in there, so that way it doesn't bulge this out. So then everything kind of fits a little better. It's more out of the way. You don't have to ball this cable up as much to fit it in that. And I mean, it's like it's a fake leather, but it's actually has a nice soft leather feel, which a lot of them I get were made out of like a cloth or a weave or something. To where this is like I don't know how well it'll hold up to damage, but it's pretty nice. I don't really travel with this stuff these days, but if I was still in school or something, I would really appreciate the case, and I like that it comes with it. It's decent. Okay, so they're obviously collapsible. And one thing that I noticed, which was basically my first complaint, which kind of is, kind of isn't, is the headband is, well, you can see it's kind of narrow, it's kind of slim, which you'd expect for a nice set of portable wireless headphones. But this is actually like some type of rubber. And there's really not much give. Like, this is hard, like whatever is here. This isn't padding, this is like maybe just the frame. It's hard. I mean, there is some flex in this thing, but really all the cushioning is just this little bit, and it's hollow. It's not like there's foam in here, and if there is foam in here, it's like so airy that it doesn't feel like it's foam. So you have just this rubber covering, and you can kind of see like it's just, and it can kind of hurt the head a little bit, especially when I first put it on, but then I don't know if I got used to it or I don't know, but most of the time it does not bother me, but that's something to consider. It's not near as nice as other pairs. For example, this style, this is much more cushioned, and the whole thing, even though there is like some give here, even like this hard part is still kind of like a foam. So these are so comfortable in comparison. But I really just felt like that was worth pointing out, because that, again, that's the advantage though. It's a Walmart brand, yes, but you can just take it right back to Walmart then, give this, you got, what, 90 days or so? Try them out, and if they do hurt you and you don't like them, then you can just take them back and try something else. So this might be a problem, it might not, but one advantage of it being made out of rubber is, the oils and everything from your head and hair aren't really going to degrade this like they will like that synthetic, this type of stuff. This always crumbles and falls apart, to where at least this being rubber, this should be more durable. I don't know if you can see that on, doesn't really matter. And again, I'm not sure how important that stuff really is, but it is there. The ear cups are marked, not on the outside, but just with this cloth printed on there. And one thing that might be of note is with these, the ear cups aren't very movable. You have like that much. So I mean, it's enough to feel comfortable. It's enough to contour, because most of your movement's up here anyway. But you can't like bring them flat or flip them up or do any they're basically fixed for the most part, aside from just that little bit. So you have to keep that in mind. Now, as far as buttons go, I assume that's a microphone for noise cancellation, because that's on both cups. There's nothing aside from that on the left and on the right. You have the button for the active noise cancellation, to pipe in ambient sound, the power button, that's the LED indicator, the headphone jack, the micro USB charging port, and I would assume that's probably the microphone for picking up your voice, like just to use it simply as a headset or microphone. And then this surface here serves as your playback features. Yeah, double tap for play and pause, up for volume, down for volume, skip ahead, and previous. So to further expound upon that, I'll just try and set up this little demo. Hopefully it gets the point across. Again, this is the right ear cup, this is the touchpad. I've turned it on, they're connected. And so here's 2 taps. And you can see that's the play pause, which I like that it's 2 taps, that way you just bump it, nothing happens. There's your pause again. So now if you look up here, I noticed you have to do it while the song is playing, at least in Spotify. You can see volume up, volume up. I noticed if you do it like really quick, it won't show it every time, even though it did go up, because you can see how much higher it is now. So if I do it a bunch of times, see it just, so it's not perfect. And then, let's see, forward and back. I mean, it does take a little getting used to. When it's on your head, you know, you'll get the hang of it. Depends on how you angle them. You have to just remember trying to keep these cardinal directions the same, basically. Again, I don't mind the 2 taps for play and pause, but I have noticed sometimes when you're grabbing it, I have to try and like wait to turn them on once they're on my head, because a lot of times grabbing them here, if you're just fooling around, you can see sometimes you can bump it a little bit. And at least I should also mention, when you adjust the volume, if you move up, it only goes that one time. So if you hold it there, so at least it would be hard to accidentally like blast the volume, because it only takes it 1 notch. You have to do it multiple times to get it to go further than that. But it doesn't really protect you though. If you accidentally do that, then it skips your song or videos, then that'll mess that up if you have to go back. But overall, again, for a $50 pair of headphones, that's really good. I mean, especially on, like, you know, people probably consider this to be a no-name cheap brand, but in all honesty, most On products I've bought are just as good as anything else that's like, you know, not maybe the high-end professional, but I've never had any trouble with On products. And for $50, I mean, there's some headphones that are over 100, 200 that don't even have touch controls. Now, I don't know exactly how, I could go either way on them. Physical controls certainly aren't bad either, but the way they've done it, I think it's pretty good. And again, it might be a taste thing, preference, but I have no problems with it, and it does work pretty well for being touch controls. And now I'm going to bring these up to the microphone, so I don't know, it'll probably be a little scratchy. Just, I don't know if it really matters, but, so I'm turning them on. You have to hold the button like for 5 seconds, which is kind of annoying. And they do connect it to at least 2 separate devices. That's all I've tested, so that's nice. And you can also turn on noise canceling. This is what it sounds like. Noise canceling on. Now, I don't know if you could even pick up the noise canceling itself. I'll talk about that coming up, and let me turn it off. Noise canceling off. Ambient sound on. Ambient sound off. Okay, so I don't know, that might not mean anything to most people, but I hate when it's like some like robotic voice or just tones. So at least, I mean, there's like a sound that it makes when it's pairing. I think it says it's pairing. But as far as power on, power off, noise canceling, at least you know what that sounds like, so you have that to go by. Now, I would also like to talk about the active noise cancellation. That's a feature I've never used before. I really don't even know that much about it. I always thought that like earbuds had it, and it was clearly passive. I thought all it simply did was it just sealed your ear to where you couldn't hear outside stuff. And now I notice almost all these headphones, they have this active noise cancellation, and obviously the AirPods have it, so earbuds have it now too. And I from what I understand, it's just it observes the ambient sound and then it'll emit a tone within that'll kind of cancel it out, which is obviously. And when I've used it, it's definitely not bad. It definitely works. It doesn't work for talking. I don't think most forms, even of expensive noise cancellation, do that or do it very well. But it'll definitely take out air conditioner drone, fans. If you're outside, probably just like some road noise or something like that. So it does work, but it makes it a little too tinny. And like when you first switch to it, you definitely notice it. But if you listen to it for like 30 seconds, a minute, then you kind of get used to it. And I could go either way with it. I could turn it on. It doesn't sound as good, but in a way, it's nice to have the cancellation. But with it off, it doesn't bother me at all either. And also, I would like to say that the ambient just pipes in, it amplifies almost like a hearing aid, what's around you. So if you want, you can still probably hear most stuff, especially with the noise cancellation off. You can still hear most stuff through them as long as they're talking or the activities at a decent level. But this definitely makes it a lot easier if you turn on the ambient. And the last thing as far as that goes, I do want to let you know, because I noticed since I just kind of got into this stuff, that a lot of complaints were that the noise cancellation on most wireless headphones is a switch, like an analog on-off. This is just a one-press button. So when you turn the noise canceling on, when you shut these off, I believe it goes off with them. But you can turn the noise canceling back on, so they're off now. And I think you could, here I can do it again. So they're off, they're not connected to anything. Actually, when the entire headphone's off, you have to hold the noise canceling button for a few seconds, kind of like a power.
Noise canceling on. Noise canceling off.
But compared to when the headphones are on and they're powered on, then you press it and it comes on. When they're shut off completely, again, you can turn it on, but you have to hold it because it's kind of like a power feature so you don't accidentally bump it. So for some reason, if you don't want to listen to music, you just want to drown out some noise, or if it helps you sleep, it'd be hard to sleep with these on. You can turn these on, and same with the ambient, but if you're going to listen to ambient noise with no music, then why have these on in the first place? But you can use these when the thing's off, and you can also use them when you're going wired. You can't use, like, this doesn't work when it's shut off, but you could still have an analog signal coming in and turn the ambient on, or the noise canceling. So hopefully I kind of got that across without making a mess out of it, but you can do that. So I think one thing you may have noticed, you can see I'm connected here on the iPad again, but you could hear before it said 2 connections successful. Now I noticed with these, pretty much any model of over-the-ear or wireless headsets or headphones, that they don't say what Bluetooth version they are. Basically, even the cheapest, garbage earbuds all say they're at Bluetooth 5.0, or I don't even know if there's anything newer like 5.1 or anything. But none of these, pretty much that I've saw, at least in the lower price range, even list what Bluetooth they use. So I'm assuming it's not 5.0, so that's why they don't want to say, oh, it's a Bluetooth 4. Whatever. But I noticed I can connect 2 devices at the same time, and that's actually something that I can't do with the true wireless earbuds, because I think they only are allowed 2 connections, and this bud to this bud is the one connection because there's no cable, and then the other one is to your iPad or your phone, your Apple TV. So even though you're only technically connected to one of your own devices, the other earbud is the second connection. To where, since this is all together, these are connected probably by a wire, you can connect to at least 2 separate devices. I've only tested 2. So I'm connected to my iPad, and here's my Apple TV. So let me hit the volume button, and you can see I'm connected here as well. And just so you know I'm not playing, you can see I'm still connected here. So for me personally, that's pretty cool, because with my earbuds, say I was listening to my iPad and then I want to watch on the TV, now I have to go up here, disconnect, shut off Bluetooth, so that way it'll pair to the TV. And since Apple TVs, unfortunately, they never shut off, they're always in standby. If you're connected to the TV last, it's going to reconnect. Then you have to turn your TV back on, wake up the Apple TV, go into settings, disconnect, and then you can reconnect here. But since this can simultaneously connect to two devices, I can be connected on both, and as long as I'm not playing an audio signal at the same time, because it's obviously only going to pick one. So if I listen to this, then close out, now I can listen to whatever on the Apple TV, and then come back here, and as long as the Apple TV is not playing, but they can still be connected, then I can pick up here. So that's also another benefit. And again, for a $50 price point, it's just, I'm happy with it. And one thing I really should have mentioned earlier is you obviously have some adjustment here. I think that would be common sense. So you can get pretty decent. I think I use them about at that length, so. But there you have it. Again, I think all in all, it's a great deal. I think that's why I would say it's the best deal you can get. If you are that picky, then this isn't your price range anyway. You want to go 3-4 times higher. But for everyone else, I really think that you'll be impressed with these. It's a great price. I'm very happy with them. You get plenty of features, you know, touch controls, the active noise cancellation, ability to do through a 3.5 millimeters wired. I wouldn't say the quality is like superb, but it's definitely good. I got rid of my Sennheisers a few years ago when I bought these HP Omens, which were like $80, and the Sennheisers were around $100. So even though these are more affordable, these are great. But you got this long, heavy cord. One thing I really prefer is these nice big ear cups. They're nice and round. Ear completely fits in them. These are obviously a little smaller, but this is more of a portable package. And I do wish that they were more round and not as elongated. But because I have small ears with like attached earlobes, so I can fit my ear in here. But for most people, you might press, and these aren't super comfortable. But you can see the size difference. So these are obviously more portable as they're designed to be. And these are, again, very good for what they are. But I would say these are just about the same. And the Omens, I found were close enough to my Sennheisers that I got rid of them and kept those. And I find that these are close enough to the Omens that I'm not being super picky. I mean, most music's streamed now, and I know you can get better qualities, but to me, there's no buzz, there's no problem. To me, it just comes down to, do they work? Are they comfortable? And they definitely are. You have to try it yourself. Maybe that I got used to that, but it could be different for everyone else. So all in all, I think I've milked this video well beyond what it's worth. For $50, they're worth a try. They shouldn't be too hard to find at your local Walmart. Get them online. If you can make it in the store, get them in the store. Try them out. If you don't like them, you can always take them back. So now I am kind of moving more toward wireless and Bluetooth. So I think I have a great set of wireless earbuds, and this is the headphones that I'm going to stick with that are wireless. So these do it for me, and hopefully they're a good option for you. So thanks for watching, and you'll see me in the next one. Have a good one.